In this video, I tell you everything that I know so far about the upcoming new edition of Kill Team, and what I feel about the whole thing. A short time ago, a new edition of the Games Workshop skirmish game Warhammer 40k Kill Team was announced. Now, this shouldn't have been surprising to anyone who can count to three. The first big kind of standalone version of Kill Team, there were previous kind of versions that were add-ons to regular 40k, but the standalone first came out in 2018, and then the next edition came out in 2021. And since GW loves to put out, new stuff every 3 years, thereby making the old stuff kind of obsolete, then that means new edition of Kill Team here in 2024. They said that the pre-orders would go on sometime in September, I'm assuming late September, and then shipping would be in October. From what they've shown us so far, it seems that they aren't really changing the rules that much. It sounds like they're making some sort of tweaks to the rules, kind of like when the, Warhammer Age of Sigmar skirmish game Warcry changed from its first edition to then second edition. Not much of a change. Little tweaks, little additions, that's about it. Certainly not like the changes from when Kill Team first edition, back in 2018, changed to second edition, which then launched in 2021. That said, whereas I liked the subtle changes between the Warcry editions, I wasn't really a fan of the big changes between, editions Kill Team. One of the changes they've talked about so far is more accessible rules documents. The language has been tightened up to be kind of easier to understand, according to them. Hopefully they spent a lot of time fixing the cover rules, right? Because they were never particularly clear during the entirety of the second edition, the last edition. They say that the cover rules are now simpler and refined, quote unquote, so I guess we'll see. They also, thankfully, got rid of the weird kind of shapes as measurements concept, right? And just went back to good old numbers, which always should have been the case. They say that they're adding more game designer commentary into the rules as well. In most games, this is usually done by having a little box in the rules, in between a couple paragraphs with special explanations, or sometimes, they'll have special sidebars over to the side to kind of act as an extra kind of description for certain rules concepts that maybe people are sometimes confused by. Almost kind of like a preemptive, frequently asked questions section for the rules, right? And you have it right near each rule so that it's, easy to reference and all that kind of stuff. The last rule set document, the 2021 version, was frankly a struggle to properly understand. It was weirdly laid out and the text was sometimes problematic. So I appreciate the idea of being more clear. We'll see if it actually works out. They're also pushing the idea that the game now has essential components to help get new players involved easily at first, and then you can add enhancements, other components, I guess, to the game as you play, like the approved ops card pack, the Kill Team card pack, and the upgrade packs to sort of expand the experience of the game. This modular structure is interestingly also something that they're doing in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar that came out a few months ago. And it's also something that you see to a greater degree in pretty much every different one-page rules game set as well. Equipment rules have been changed as well, they say. No more points used to buy equipment for your forces. You just get to pick 4 pieces from the equipment lists. That's a little bit easier, I suppose. There's universal equipment that everyone gets access to, and some faction-specific equipment as well. Another new thing, some equipment is actually not so much equipment that you carry, but it's actually small terrain pieces that you put onto the board, like barricades, barbed wire, and other stuff like that. Pulling the equipment points out of the equation here may also kind of go a long way to helping make Kill Team even more accessible. They also showed off the new terrain for this, I guess, season is what we'll call it. And it harkens back to the original terrain from the original 2018 version of Kill Team. And I see this as a very good thing. We're basically just going back to plain old, building ruins and kind of a city fight style war zone, which is great. Honestly, I was never a big fan of the Gallowdark, like walls and hallways and doors type terrain. And the Beta Decima walkways over the ocean thing didn't really do it for me either. Getting back into something resembling the old terrain makes me pretty happy, at least. Something brand new and very interesting to me, they're adding solo and co-op mode to Kill Team. This is certainly a first for Kill Team, and I think nearly a first for pretty much any Games Workshop games. It's very interesting, this change. I wonder where they got the idea from. Honestly, I don't know where they got the idea from, but I'm glad to see them moving into this direction because it is a lot easier for you as a person to teach yourself how to play when you can play solo. And it's also a lot easier for you to be able to teach your friend how to play when you can play, co-op versus, as opposed to being against each other. It's very difficult for a new player who's just learning to play against somebody who knows what they're doing, but when you play together, it's actually a much better plan, and that's why Vince and I have been putting it into our games for quite a good long time. They've said that there's an app coming, and they also said that the data cards for the kill teams will be available for free, as opposed to, having to buy another compendium for $50 or whatever, like last edition. Now, they haven't said anything that I've seen about whether the app will be free or not, or maybe attached to like Warhammer Plus. We're not sure at this point. I hope that the app is free and that the data cards are in there, but I also hope that we can print out our own data cards, like from PDFs as well, off the website. Speaking of data cards, they did sneak in some bad news into the footnotes of a recent article. In the article, they stated almost every Kill Team released in a box set, from the Veteran Guardsmen of Kill Team Octarius right up to the Herrenkin Jägers of Kill Team Termination, will have fully updated rules for the new edition. So that means that some of the bespoke kill teams that have been released since Octarius won't be getting data cards in the new edition. Otherwise, they would have said all kill teams released in a box set from the Veteran Guardsmen of Kill Team Octarius, yada, yada, yada. But they didn't say all, they said almost every, and that's kind of a bummer. So that's weird, but there's more. Also in that same line in the article, there's a little footnote marker. And if you go to the bottom of the page, it says this. This does mean that kill teams from the Kill Team Compendium book will not have updated rules. What this really means is that going forward, you'll only be able to play bespoke kill teams. And by bespoke kill teams, I mean the kill team kits that are designed, they're made for the kill team game. They either come in those starter boxes or they come in those quarterly boxes, and they're specifically designed for kill team, right? Those are the bespoke teams, right? And you won't be able to sort of build your own like you used to be able to with the compendium, previously. I'm not angry. Well, that's not true. I am actually a little bit angry, but I'm mostly just disappointed. I've said it before on this channel. In my opinion, one of the best things about Kill Team 2018, the very first edition, right, was that you could build kill teams the way that you wanted. Want to build a Necron kill team? Cool. Follow the rules in the book. You could maybe have a few immortals. You could have some warriors, a single death mark, and even a few flayed ones. That was the Necron list that I used to run. Or you could lose the warriors and add in more immortals, or maybe even something else. Whatever you wanted, it added variation and agency to how your teams were built. It allowed you to maybe use models that you already had. Or maybe you had some of the models from playing 40K, but you just needed to add a few more to kind of flesh out your kill team, and you could potentially trade with friends or pick up the extras on eBay or whatever. I had friends who were already 40K players that I was able to get playing kill team because they already had the models to use to build their kill team in their stock of models. You weren't forced to buy new models every time you wanted to play a team. But now it seems like bespoke lists will force you to do that. Now, we don't know yet if list building in the new edition will change much from the last edition. In the last edition, the rules in the compendium would usually tell you that you had to take a certain leader with a few choices of weapon loadouts and then like a certain number of other operatives from a list, with caveats about like duplicates and such like that, whether it was in the compendium or whether it was even in the bespoke list. It was pretty much an on-rails kind of list building. And if I had to guess, I'd bet that this new edition will not really change in any appreciable list building way, sadly. At least the data cards seem more readable and clearer this time around. We've seen a few at this point, an Orc Commando Dakaboy and a Vespid Sky Blast. And those kind of weird symbols and extra stats and all that kind of stuff have been pared down. And now we just see action points, move, save, wounds, lists of the weapons, special abilities, keywords, and then what I assume is base size down there in the lower right. Initially, I thought that number, when I first just saw the Orc one, was maybe like the points for list building. But then as the numbers are in little circles and one is a 32 and on the Vespid guy it's a 28, they're probably base sizes. There's still things about the new edition we don't know yet. Will there be all that stealth play that the last edition had? I haven't seen anything about it as of this recording, but I personally hope that they dial that stuff back. I really didn't enjoy the hide and seek aspect to the gameplay in the last edition. It sounds like they're simplifying equipment, so will they also simplify, ploys as well? The last edition had so many ploys on top of ploys. So hopefully they'll either reduce the number of them or maybe change them significantly. So will I give it a try? I don't know. I'm really disheartened by the loss of any kind of list building that isn't, the pre-made bespoke kits that they sell. If I do try it out, it'll only be with the veteran guardsmen, as I built and painted them back when Octarius first came out in 2021, or the blooded, which are kind of like Chaos Trader guardsmen, and I painted them up some time ago because, the models were really pretty great, I thought. I couldn't really use any of the other hundreds of 40K models I've built and painted over the years since the compendium lists are gone now. It's a shame. So what do you think? Are you unhappy that they don't seem to be changing things too much since last edition? Did you prefer second edition Kill Team to first edition? At the very least, are you glad to see the measuring shapes go away and be replaced with actual numbers again? And can anyone explain to me why they still call a turn a turning point? For all of these things, please let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, also please hit the like button, and then you can see, the little tiny fireworks if they're still doing that on YouTube. If you want to see videos like this every single Friday, you can also click the little subscribe button down there while you're down there. It's free. Thanks for watching.